Yeah, Argentina might be a second world country. I don't know, but no, it's
Next
not.
comic, give it loud everybody for Anthony Eugenio. We're gonna have next comic. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
So I want to start this with Jeremy. What do you drink?
Water.
No.
It's even worse. It's 2 shots of vodka with the rest water.
What kind of vodka?
Poland Spring.
All right. So
yeah, $8 a bottle in Cambridge too. So that's like premium price.
All right. This is off the record. Anthony pushed out, and he got offline when I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I am very interested in aliens, and you're very you're I don't want to say familiar. You have an interest in aliens as well, but you also work for NASA. So you're gonna lie to me for the next amount of time, whatever. No, but I honestly want to know. We did 3 alien episodes, which were our worst performing episodes, aside from when we put the censored word in any sort of context in an episode. Those always did worse than the alien ones, but the aliens were worse after that. But yeah, I love this. I love this topic, but it also blows my mind how little you know about it.
Yeah, well, so think about it. Like, do you have a favorite alien encounter or an alien event? Like, there's Roswell is like the most famous.
Yeah, Roswell's the big one for most people. The Betty and Barney Ross thing is pretty interesting.
What's that?
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what
you think I'm playing dumb?
So Betty and Barney Ross, they were driving down a street or down a road or whatever, and they got abducted by aliens. They each had specific different encounters, and they got returned, and they kept their story for the entirety of their lives, and how things went in their encounters with these aliens. I think Barney, who was the male, Betty and Barney Ross, not to be, was it Ross? I think it was Ross.
Barney and Betty Hill?
Hill. Yeah, sorry. Betty and Barney Hill. Off topic. Granddaughter, I think. Angela Hill, UFC fighter.
No shit, really?
Yeah. So Betty and Barney Hill. I think Barney Hill might have had a more rapey experience with the aliens.
This is on my birthday. Whoa. Sorry.
No, look it up because I have.
I'm reading the Wikipedia right now.
But this is one of the most impressive ones to me because they kept up the entire. I don't want to call it a charade because it was something that has potentially really happened to them, and they kept it up for the rest of their lives, rather. And they didn't have any straying of facts. It was always the same, you know.
So they kept to their story essentially.
Yeah.
That is fucking wild. One
of the interesting things that always stuck with me was my grandfather, who was born in 1928. So he died 5 years ago, right before my son was born. He was 93 years old. He always used to say to me, I think that we are the Australia of the galaxy. Like the people, like our ancestors were put here because we were shitty people. They were shitty people, and they just came here, or they were sent here rather, and they fucked each other a bunch, and they made us. Which makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's probably pretty true. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Sorry, I'm reading about Angela Hill right now, their granddaughter, who's the UFC star.
Yeah, I think she's a lackluster fighter. She's not horrible, but I don't think she. I don't think.
Yeah,
She's
I mean, let's be clear.
specific.
She could take us both at once and kill us both. Like,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, like let's just call a spade a spade.
What's her
here.
record? Just out of curiosity.
Her record is 30, 32 total. She's 18 and 14. That's almost 500.
Yeah, I would say a good fighter, a decent
12 by
fighter is-
12
is-
wins by decision though. So like, she's not knocking bitches out.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I used to love MMA. I was a big MMA fighter.
Okay.
Fighting fan, I should say.
So do you know about the Kentucky alien invasion?
No.
There was like a family. They were allegedly just like chilling, drinking beers on the porches in Kentucky, having a good night.
Tell me more.
And chilling, having a good time. And then these like silver beings with like claws ran up on them essentially out of the woods, ran up on them in middle of bumfuck Kentucky, and they obviously flipped out. They went inside, they got their guns, and they started shooting at them. And according to 7 or 8 people who were there, they were shooting at them, and every time they shot at them, it was like the Matrix, where like obviously 50 years before the Matrix, where they shot at them and the bullet would stop like right before the being, and then drop to the ground. So the bullets would be going 500 miles an hour and then drop right to the ground every single time.
My only problem with that is how could you see that? Even in daylight, how could you see a bullet go boom, dink, boom, dink, boom, dink? Unless you went to where, if you figured out the math, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it was however far ahead, and you were boom, 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 and you had dead nuts accuracy, and you could see, like, you went there and there was just a pile of bullets, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my only problem. And listen, I'm a big alien believer. I am also a skeptic of bullshitters.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
What do you think about those? Did you see when Mexico put out like those alien bodies? I think it was
That
Mexico.
was 100% fake.
That was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
That was right on the heels of David Grush. Do you know David Grush?
Yeah, tangentially, but yes.
Yeah, so David Grush was the whistleblower who he had very high clearance in the United States government. He went through the proper channels to be able to talk about his experiences and his knowledge of alien interaction.
And he like talked to Congress and shit, right?
Oh yeah, he was in Congress.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
As
Yes.
me and Anthony called him, a very handsome individual, very fuckable. But but yeah, I mean he, that was right on the heels of that, and I feel like it was like a Me Too type of thing. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that the Mexican paper mache alien bodies were found to be fake.
David Grush, you said? Oh yes, David Grush, UFO whistleblower.
Yeah.
Yes, this is exactly what I was thinking of. Yep.
Yep. There's also Ryan Graves, I think.
So then, like, this dude came to Congress, and he was like, it was something along the lines of, like, when you shoot down a plane, you find the pilot's bodies. And they were like, so do you have bodies? And he was like, I can't confirm, nor deny.
Yeah.
But then, like, his speech was approved by the DOD by policy. So, like, they approved.
Yeah. But there were certain things he wasn't allowed to speak on unless it was in a skiff. Which Anthony would be the one, if he didn't puss out and fucking back out so fast, we'd have this conversation, because he knows like all this terminology. There was a skiff.
You think I don't know what a fucking skiff is?
But you probably do.
Yeah.
But you're assuming that I do, and I'm going to pretend like I know. But I'm not going to pretend anything.
Sensitive compartmented information facility.
I can Google it too, you son of a bitch.
I knew I couldn't figure out the C. I was like, what the fuck is a C? Yeah, so it's essentially a room where it's like, you leave your phone at the door, you walk in. So, like, when, like, we're planning the Bin Laden raids.
That people aren't listening, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, it's actually funny, but, like, by law, like, those rooms have to be made with 100%, like, U.S. sourced material. So, like, you can't buy the concrete from Russia. Or what, like, all kinds of shit.
Yeah. I don't know,
and that's when they... That's the UAP task force. Yep.
There's so many weird things going on right now with Just in general, like the whole thing with the pyramids, and you saw,
I'm with you on the pyramids,
yeah, you saw
100%.
that, right? Like they have the
Did you
whole
see the
thing on
Noah's
the.
Ark shit too? No,
No,
I
I
did not
heard
see. Is
about it.
there a new
I
ship?
didn't look at it because every 3 years I've been alive, they've found Noah's Ark, and I saw another Noah's Ark thing. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I haven't heard new shit on the pyramids though. I'm all ears. Because I'm
well,
with you. Those are wild.
they had like the things underneath it. They were like mechanisms underneath. I think they were like power generating mechanisms or something like that. I don't know. It was all based off of like a MRI or something like that. I don't know. I'm too stupid to figure
Yeah.
that out.
Some kind of ground penetrating radar.
Yeah, the GPRs. Yeah.
Each of your pyramids mechanisms underneath. Let's see what Google gives me. Fuck all. All right, I tried.
Really, nothing came up, huh?
Well, there's like engineers found evidence of hydraulics in an ancient. Oh wait, maybe this is it. Engineers found evidence of hydraulics in an ancient pyramid, solving a 4,500-year-old mystery. From last month, the first of 7 key pyramids in Egypt was built using a hydraulic lift. That's fucking crazy if true. Huh. Using hydraulics to build the pyramids literally 4,500 years ago. Could have maneuvered the oversized. Okay, so that's how they get the power to lift them. Also, one sec. Let me fucking. I gotta record this because the ad I'm getting is literally just alien faces staring at me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just. I want to believe this stuff, but you get bombarded with so much wild shit on Facebook,
Just
Instagram,
insanity.
TikTok. I spent months investigating different articles and things like that on EBE and like different Roswell things. And when I was in college, and then I just didn't because I'm lazy.
Did you graduate?
College? Yeah, I got associates.
Yeah. I'm not shaming. I'm just curious.
Did nothing with it. No, it had. So when I was in college, it had nothing to do with college. It was just the time frame. I went to college for
those age
journalism,
years.
shit like that. I did nothing with my degree. I do pretty well selling tools to machine shops now. I know.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with what I went to school with. I went to school for rather. But during that time when I was learning about all the stuff that wasn't going to make me rich, I was also looking into EBE and all this stuff. And I found it very interesting. And then I just kind of fell off. And now TikTok's coming around. It's telling me all these things that is coming back around. I'm like, oh, I remember EBE and, Roswell and all that shit. And I'm getting interested again.
Do you have a favorite, incident?
No. Well,
or one you believe the most?
Was that?
Or is there the one you believe the most?
I feel like this sounds predictable, but I feel like Roswell is very believable. If you really read all the things and listen to all the stories about it, that's pretty believable. They came out and said one thing, then said another, then said another, and you know what I mean? That's pretty believable. There's some stuff from some I don't want to call third world countries. I don't know what a second world country would be, but
that's a fun game. Have you guys guessed terminology like that?
Yeah, Argentina might be a second world country. I don't know, but no, it's not.
First world, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, first world is
let's go
during World War II.
Let's be racist. Let's see what it is.
I think listen, I could be wrong. I might be mistakenly racist. First world is the Allies during World War II. Second world is the Axis powers, and then third world is everyone else.
How could the Axis powers be second world?
Well, they lost the war.
Yeah, but they had the Nazi bell.
I could be wrong here. I don't fucking know.
So here's another thing. This falls into this whole alien thing that we're talking about. Do you know about the Nazi bell?
No, I don't.
Google Nazi bell right now and see what happens.
I don't know why I want like a fun little Google like emotion thing. The the Die Glocke, the Nazi bell. Die Glock, the Nazi bell, was a purported top secret scientific technological device, wonder weapon, or
I believe it's pronounced Wunderwaffen.
Yep. Yep, you're right. Wunderwaffe. Developed in the 1940s in Nazi Germany, rumors are this device has persisted for decades after World War II and were used as a plot trope in the fiction novel Lightning by Dad's Con. What the fuck is it, though?
It was their attempt at a UFO.
Oh my god, it's got the little swastika on it, too, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure everything they had... Like, there was probably like an Abercrombie and Fitch style clothing line with little swastikas. I'm sure there was all that. But yeah, there was a thing called the Nazi bell. It was anti-gravitational, I believe.
Anti-gravitational effect, yep.
Yep. I don't remember all of it. It's been a while since I read about all that. But apparently, potentially in contact with alien species and trying to figure out how to make their technology work on the planet Earth, and the Nazi bell was their attempt. And I don't know. It was really interesting stuff, to say the least.
Does it get you excited then when, like, so NASA recently, I think it was NASA, came out with like I feel like every now and then they have the thing where they're like, hey, we found a planet that like might be habitable for life. But it was like a planet where like they found gas in the atmosphere that was like only known to be like on Earth. The only way to contribute that is to like have actual life. And they found this gas in the atmosphere of another planet. Like, did those get you excited as like
no.
aliens?
So here's the reason. So I'm going to ask you this as a NASA employee. I don't know the extent of your employment. I don't know what you do at NASA. But as a star gets older, am I wrong in understanding that a star will get older and get less hot, and then eventually, like, compound upon itself and then explode?
So I think what happens is that it essentially grows and grows and grows, and then I believe it gets less hot, and then it will, if it's big enough, it'll shrink down rapidly, and then you'll get, either a black hole or one hell of a, energy dispersion.
So almost exactly what I said.
Yes.
So, so what if, because like we're in the Goldilocks zone, I have two different outlooks on this. We're in the Goldilocks zone. So let's go with my first thought here, that a star is getting less hot, and then boom, expand, and then whatever. What if every planet in a solar system is in that Goldilocks zone at different points of the star's life?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Could there be life on, obviously, probably not some planets like Venus, I think, is a wildly inopportune planet for life. But Mars was probably, we found evidence of water on Mars. I think they found evidence of life on Mars at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we're in that quote-unquote Goldilocks zone where the sun is at the right temperature for the longest amount of time possible to make the life that we are.
So, I get what you're saying in theory in terms of, like, the Goldilocks zone is going to shift over time, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't think it, in the, practical effect, I don't think it does, because planets are so far apart, and, like...
But?
Essentially, like, the Goldilocks zone like you can't reach and touch another planet. The Goldilocks zone is like so close together, or so like narrow, that like even when the sun expands or contracts, it's still like it's not going to expand so far that it'll reach another planet, or contract so far that it'll cut out a planet.
I'm gonna believe you. So here comes
I'm talking out of my ass here.
Okay,
but like that's my understanding.
But I'm still gonna believe you, and with that, because I'm a piece of shit and I have answers for everything. Here's my second.
Same. We're two white guys.
Well, let's do it. So here's my second thought of that.
Yeah.
I have always been, and this is something that I've been since I was a teenager.
An asshole.
An asshole. I have always been under the impression, or I don't want to call it understanding.
Belief?
I've always had the belief that just because life exists the way that we know it doesn't mean that life cannot exist outside of the way that we know it. So meaning that just because Venus might be a completely uninhabitable planet, doesn't mean that it's uninhabited.
For sure. So we're carbon-based life forms. So like all of our cells are based in carbon.
Yeah.
Somehow. There's absolutely a completely rational scientific belief to say like there can be non-carbon based life form out there who like live on other planets and totally live in a different way than we can possibly comprehend.
The reason I came to this thought was Chernobyl, right? So we had the big Chernobyl explosion. There's no life's going to be living here forever, but there were also bacteria. Was it bacteria? I think it was bacteria that were living and eating the radioactive goo and thriving off it.
I think they were eukaryotes, but yes.
What is a eukaryote?
I think it's a different type of It's essentially a competitor bacteria, if you want to think. But if I remember correctly, eukaryotes are much more durable. But yes, essentially bacteria.
So either way, whatever it is, I felt like, there's something that is surviving and thriving off of this thing that we were like, nothing's ever going to live there. And this thing was like, well, hold my beer. And, you know what I mean? So why is that not a thing in the universe? The thing that we don't even by a 0.1% understand.
I'm looking up a fucking... what you're saying is so correct that I'm looking up the exact example of like what you're thinking of.
Damn, it feels so good to be right.
I'm trying to figure out, because these things creep the fuck out of me, and like I don't think about them. What the fuck are they called? Here we go. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Tardigrades. TARDIGRADES. These fucking things, they're like living cells, and they can... Fuck it. One sec. I'll figure out how to edit this in later. Can you see my screen?
Holy shit. How did you do that?
So these things, hit the little share button.
It's a share button?
Yeah, next to the microphone, between the camera and the mute button. Or the hang up button. So tardigrades,
I don't have that.
These things... We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in post.
No, that's fine. That's really cool. I'm glad you're figuring this shit out. So
they can essentially live wherever the fuck they want, and this is like some of these might be like actual microscopic images of them, like not artist renderings, but they can live in volcanoes. They can live in outer space. Like they can live wherever the fuck they want. And this is an example of like what you were saying of like shit can just we're thinking too mammalian or about human. Yeah, tardigrades in space is like this popular.
Sounds like a movie.
Yeah, literally.
I this is what I'm talking about. There's so much we don't know.
It's wild, dude. Survive the journey through space in 2008, they suggested they may be able to survive the journey on a meteorite. So, like, just traveling through space, no oxygen, no nothing, no water, no nothing.
Can you imagine? I think about this all the time, Kirby. I've been driving I drive a lot for work, right?
Yeah.
And I look outside my window, and I have my side view mirror, and I look out and I see a little spider. He made a home inside of my mirror,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you are going to be so far away from home by the time I'm done.
I got that every time there's a bug trapped in my car.
Yeah, you're going to be so far away from home. Imagine the tardigrades on a fucking meteor.
Like they accidentally went up on a space shuttle, and now they're on a meteor, and they're going to fucking Venus or whatever.
Not a space shuttle. I just said, oh shit, I'll come over here, and next thing you know, they're in fucking Alpha Centauri.
Literally.
Yeah, that's wild.
So then, like, there's like satellites who jobs are just like go to the sun and like, record as much as you want until you get to the sun and burn up, and like. We try our best to keep microbes and everything off of that, but like there has to be, it's like you can bleach it and it's like 99.9999%, but then there's like that 0.00001%.
What is the point of bleaching it?
Well, you just like clean it. So there's forward and backwards. I'm trying to blank on the term. Essentially cross contamination. So forwards being you spread stuff from Earth to other planets. Backwards being you take stuff from other planets back to Earth. Mm-hmm. So, like, when we send astronauts up, we put them in a 14-day quarantine, similar to COVID, where, like, they can't take anything from Earth to another planet in case there's other life. But then when they come back, particularly during the Apollo program, when we didn't know what was coming back, they would have to, like, live in an RV for 2 weeks. So, like, in case they brought anything back, they would just, like, die in an RV.
I love that they think that anything from outer space was, like, well, it's only going to be 2 weeks, and then we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I don't know where they came up with the number.
That's probably where COVID came from.
So, like, they did, and back in, the 1960s, they required 6 feet of social distancing. That was the exact term. And nobody fucking knew what that meant until COVID. Like, unless you were an astronaut, you had no idea what 6 feet of social distancing meant.
Really?
Swear to God.
If you were an astronaut...
If you were an Apollo astronaut...
You could come back
on the way there,
Earth.
even. Yep.
You could go to Walmart.
No, so they didn't so like on the way there, you would see like videos of like them because for 2 weeks they were stuck in this RV, and they would be like biking along the path, but they were like, journalists, you need to keep it 6 feet away for social distancing. Back in 1969 or 1970s, depending on which Apollo mission it was. And like, I had never thought about it until I went back recently and saw the videos, and they were like social distancing 6 feet away, and I was like, oh, this has been like a thing. Like this isn't new.
So, I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to preface this with, you're probably going to edit this.
I can't wait to see this as a hard cut till the next question.
maybe. And listen, I'm gonna say it like I'm not gonna force you to edit anything. I will edit anything you don't want to if you want to do it. This is the rule. If you want to do it, you're more than happy to. But I'm not going to force you to do anything. So, the reason I say you're probably going to edit this is because of your job and the subject matter, and you're going to know what's going to get you in trouble and what's not. And obviously, you're probably going to say or not say anything that's going to keep you out of trouble. But as a human, not as a NASA employee, what do you think the likelihood is that extraterrestrials exist? And I have follow-up questions, so I'm gonna take it step by step.
I think it's extremely likely.
What's that?
Extremely likely.
What is the likelihood that extraterrestrials have visited our planet?
So that gets interesting. Because when you think of essentially the first question is there life beyond our planet? And I think that's extremely likely. The second question is, are they intelligent, and are they intelligent enough to visit? I personally think they are intelligent enough to visit.
Well,
I do.
we went over this where they could just be a fucking bung on a meteor going, yo!
Yeah, they could be one of those fucking turtle
You know
gains
what
or
I
whatever
mean?
the fuck they are. Yeah, just hanging out. So they could be single-celled organisms,
Yeah.
and they
All right,
could just be hanging out,
let's change
and
it
there
to
could be,
it. So
prokaryotes or eukaryotes.
you think that and this is all based off of your knowledge of what's going on, which is, I'm gonna guess, probably you have no knowledge of anything of a significant value.
That's correct. I'm gonna keep that pause in right there. I'm gonna keep that pause.
I was waiting.
I'm so sure keeping that in.
All right, so
I'm just gonna send my boss the timestamp of that.
I'm gonna guess you have zero knowledge of any of this. But sorry, so we're gonna change.
My
the
job
question.
is not as cool as you think it is. I'll leave it at that.
I'm gonna say it as me. I think your job is just as cool as I think it is because working for NASA. And I should ask you. My wife has a friend who works at NASA.
Oh shit.
Um,
Do you have any idea what she does?
it was a man, Jeremy,
Oh, sorry.
because he works at NASA. No, it's a man. I don't know his name. I forget. I don't know what he does. I think he's in
Yeah.
Texas. Is it Texas?
Houston
No,
or
Houston, Texas. Yeah.
yeah.
Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, he was there. I don't know if he's still there. My wife might be considered old. No, she's not old. She's 41. 41 this year. So depending on what your
I've hit
definition
on
of
older
old
people.
is, that guy might be old as well. He might not be 31. Anyways, so I'm going to change my questioning. What is the likelihood of intelligent life existing, in your opinion, as a NASA employee who has no knowledge of anything regarding the subject above his pay grade?
I think it's completely plausible, if not guaranteed, that there's somewhere in the universe where there is. What did you say? Intelligent life? Was that your definition?
Yeah, non-human intelligence is what I would say.
Non-human intelligence. I think so. If we're talking multicellular organisms, I mean, it feels to me very ignorant or self-aggrandizing of humans to be like, how lucky are we that, evolution worked out that we exist?
Mm-hmm.
To think that didn't happen twice in the entire universe, I feel like it has to have happened a second time.
So you call it a multi-cell organism. What if there is a single-cell organism that is smart as fuck?
It's not impossible as far as, current human understanding. It's impossible as far as I am aware, because the way intelligence works is that you have multiple cells that work together to form, a sentient being. But there are absolutely multi-cell organisms, like you think of a bacteria. All they know is like, they don't know anything. They just like have genetic code that's like, if I'm faced with adversity, if I'm faced with bleach, I either have the genetics to deal with that or I don't. And the ones that have the genetics to deal with it keep going, and so on and so on. So like, they don't think.
So there is a direct correlation between the size of the brain and the intelligence, right?
I would say they correlate. Yes, it's not. It's not everybody who has a bigger brain is smarter, but yes, you need more cells to think. Yes,
but there's also bigger animals that have smaller brains.
Yeah, like we're smarter than T-Rexes, and they had a huge fucking brain.
How do we know that?
How big their brain was, or how smart we are?
Well, how do we know? So I guess that's a two-part question. How do we know that they had a bigger brain? Because a brain is organic matter, not a bone, right? So
because we can look at their skull cavities, so we can look at the size of
big underwear and still have a small dick.
Yes, but you choose to wear big underwear. You don't choose the size of your brain.
God damn it,
And
Jeremy.
nobody doubted that you had a small dick.
All right.
You're compensating. The bone cells don't compensate.
God damn you. All right.
But I mean, you make a good point as far as like we're assuming that everything within that skull cavity is brain, and we're assuming that it's of a certain quality, and it might not be.
Yeah.
And this is way out of my pay grade, so like I'm talking out of my ass here, but
Yeah, we're having a conversation. That's it.
yeah.
Um,
I can't wait to be in HR when they're like reversing this meeting, like, and what did you think about this moment? And then rewind 30 seconds. It hasn't yet.
No, it hasn't, but it could it? Like, because this doesn't have to go anywhere other than right now.
No, yeah, it could, but like I'm at the point of like I'm pushing. I look at the boundary and see where it's at, and if I hit the boundary and nobody says anything, I assume everything within that is fine.
So I'm gonna say right now to the HR people talking, right before we recorded this, we recorded an episode with Dave Russo, who is a New England comic, very funny, great guy,
Very funny.
been doing it 30 years, and if you watch that episode, you could see that Wayne had a few cosmic IPAs. So
On theme.
it is very on theme. So during this episode, we don't want to take anything I say to heart. So Jeremy shouldn't get in trouble.
I appreciate that. I don't know if it's going to hold weight.
I'm trying.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I sincerely appreciate that. And I'll let you know when HR calls me in. Honestly, the fact that like they haven't, I'm like, am I good? Is this cool? Are they cool with what I'm doing?
Well, I think it's one of those things where, like, if they were to call you out on anything that you say, because it's so stupid and dumb, and anything that we talk about, then they would be admitting guilt, right?
What place you put me in by making me answer that question?
Well,
yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah.
you, I'm
I
saying
understand what you're saying.
It's a rhetorical question. They would be, they would be admitting guilt.
They yes, they would be
as innocent as a newborn baby boy. He is my newborn baby boy.
Yeah. They also, I mean, like they know what I do for work, so like they know what I know and don't know.
I would hope they know what you do for work because you work for them.
But also, it's a government, so like.
Yeah, I getcha.
Yeah. And nothing scares me more than like a Friday meeting with my boss, like a Friday afternoon meeting with my boss. Like I'm so fucking fired, and it never is. But like, that's 5 o'clock as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, when I first started comedy, I didn't really tell many people about it, but people at my work found out because I told people about it. And the owner,
You handing out business cards?
yeah, dude, I might as well have been. The owner of my company was in the kitchen of my work, and we were both heating up our lunches, and he goes, "Hey, I heard you're doing comedy," and I was like, "Oh no." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing it a little bit." And he goes, "I'd love to hear it." And so I'm gonna say right now, my company is fucking incredible. Everybody is super supportive. It's like nothing is sacred with them. They're like it's just a good group of people. It's like hanging out with your friends every day at work, right? So stupid me goes, "Oh, I'll send you my videos." Now, this was like a couple months in. I didn't have videos. I didn't have like my type 5 I was sending to bookers. I had what I at the time called TikTok, which I still want to bring back at some point, and I might do.
Is that a bit?
You've never heard of TikTok?
I don't think so.
Jeremy, I'm going to send you a video tonight.
Do it. I will watch it for sure.
Dick Talk was basically like it was my prize joke when I was starting out, and it was basically about how I saw a guy say he wouldn't suck a dick for $10 million, and then my whole rant on how could you not, essentially.
Literally.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's absolutely horrible. It's not good, but I'll send it to you because I'm a glutton for punishment. But I sent this to my
Perfect.
boss. I was like, yeah, I'll send it to you, and I sent it to him. That was on a Monday. Okay? Oh no, it was on a Friday. I went all weekend. I got no reply from my boss.
Oh my god.
Monday rolls around. He's not in the office. Tuesday rolls around. He's in the office, but I don't say anything to him. Wednesday rolls around. He's in the office. I walk into his office. I go, your suspense game is pretty good. He goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, I sent you my set from the open mic last week. Yeah, you didn't say anything. And he's like, oh, I thought you were fucking with me. I clicked the link and it didn't open. I was like, oh no, that was a real link. I'll resend it to you. I fucking resend it to him like an asshole.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad. He watched it. He liked it. He thought
Take
it was
your
funny.
out, man. Just take your fucking out.
Yeah,
God
I
was
should.
trying to help you there.
Yeah, I should have. He did watch it. He said he liked it. It was funny. And I'm gonna say I think Dick Talk was a funny joke. I liked it, but
Hey, I get that.
it's not a. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna talk to you about that the next time we record.
We'll watch it.
Yeah.
So I had that So every Wednesday morning we have like a weekly tag up with my team. I think I mentioned this earlier.
You did.
And like the past couple of weeks, they've been like, oh, so you do like, what do you do on the weekend? And I've been filming this on the weekend. So I've been like, oh, like Friday night I filmed the podcast, and Saturday morning I edited it. And they're like, oh, what podcast is it? And I was like, oh, Open Mic Pain. And they were like, oh, can you like drop the link in the chat? And then I'm like dropping the link in the chat. But then I'm like, everything can be, you know what FOIA is? Freedom of Information Act. So like, essentially everybody in the country could like request this link to this chat. And I was like,
Please
shouldn't have sent this.
Do that. We want that.
We want the promo.
Yeah.
And so I was like, openmicpain.com, dropped it in the chat. And they were like, I could see everybody in the group just like pulling out their phones and like, like everybody was, they weren't like just being nice. They were looking it up actively. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
They might be listening right now. What's up?
Say the C word so many times.
I know. That literally, as they were looking it up, I was thinking of all the times I wish I had censored something or removed something. But it is what it is.
You called me during the sweet and sour comedy thing. That was a lot of fun.
Last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
you
good.
say last week. This could be 7 months from now.
Yeah, literally. Oh, yeah. Yep, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But, yeah.
During the Sister Wives episode.
Yes. Yeah, that was so good. Good for you, dude.
That was a good
by the way.
episode. Thank you.
Caught me off guard on that, but good for you.
Same thing with Anthony, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. Do it up. But
No,
anyways,
that was a good episode. And, well, I totally fucking lost that train of thought there. Totally lost it. The second I started talking, I lost that train of thought.
that happens to me all
My
the
dog
time.
started licking my leg. Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. The only difference is Anthony is so good at making me look like a little bitch because of it. I'm not.
Yeah.
So you're okay. You're all right.
Yeah, he'll make you look like an asshole for no good reason.
Yeah, for no good reason. This is, you know what that is? That's because when me and Anthony met, I was the closer at a parts store, and he just came on as a extra set of hands. And me and him were closing one night, and it was raining outside. And I said, "Hey, bud, would you mind getting the mop, going outside, and just mopping up the puddles so when the customers come in, they don't get their feet wet?" And he went and grabbed the mop. And he went outside. And before he actually got outside, I said, "Hey, put it away. I was just fucking with you." And from that moment on, I feel like he hates me. We're best friends. We are the best of friends. I love Anthony. I would do anything. I would give my life for him. And I feel like the same is true with the other side. However, he brings it up all the time. He
does not forget.
Out the door. He was about to mop a parking lot filled with rainwater. Because
have you seen that meme?
Do it.
I'll put it in here. So I remember to put it in. There was literally a meme where it was like a Navy person. Yeah. I'll see the spike in the audio and I'll figure it out.
You know the best thing about the clap?
What?
It was never helpful.
This one?
Yeah, it was never helpful.
Never, not once. Unless
not once.
you're watching it actively. Like, it doesn't, what does this give me?
Yeah.
There's also, I noticed, there's a mark button right here. Like, that has to be more helpful than a fucking clap.
Dude, I have nothing of the sort on my screen.
What? Alright. Hold the fuck up.
Alright. You're on a computer, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably why. I'm on a what?
Do you see this button right here? I'm going to cut all of this, but do you see this button right here?
Leave it.
You a Patriots fan?
No.
Alright.
No.
That's the clip. Yeah. I respect that. Alright, so Aliens. Let's wrap this up on Aliens here. We went to film 30 minutes. We filmed the full 51.
Has it been 50? I'm going to get fucking divorced.
It's literally... Is your wife up? Not anymore?
Probably.
Yeah. Hey. If I learned anything, she could leave and you'll still film this podcast, so...
Dude, what else am I going to do? If she's upstairs, I'm in my basement. If she's not, I'm in the basement.
So things are going great, it sounds like. Things are cool. Everything's fine. I gotta get one of those fucking Yeti mics, too. Alright, so... Aliens. We concluded that we both agree that they're real. There's some kind of sentient life. They've come to Earth. Are we on the same page there?
Yes.
And then we agreed that essentially, as cliche as it is, Roswell is the example. Right?
The example of what?
Like the epitome of like a extraterrestrial experience on Earth.
Yep.
Interesting.
I agree.
Now, do you, and then there's that Air Force guy who we totally believe, which is fair. I totally believe him. Yes, sorry, I apologize. David Grush. Yes, he's my 8th open tab right now.
Also, probably working next to you when you go in on Monday. So,
as if I don't work from this exact desk every day. Like,
are you work from home?
I'm fully work from home, dude. I work from this exact. This is my view when I'm in NASA meetings. This exact
serious?
Hand to God, dude. I don't go in. I'm 100% work from home. This is. I have this in a blurred back screen. I connect to like the VPN and shit, and then I close my windows, and that is what that is.
Just the last episode, you were worried about your neighbors listening to you about sexual.
So I don't like always close my windows, if we're being honest. But but like it's. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's. I'm on the 4th floor. Like it's fine, but. I can't go to like a Panera Bread and work.
You have the Dominicans below you, the Asians below them, and then the whites below them.
And then above me is a couple who hates each other's guts, who just yells at each other, so they can't hear me over them yelling. So
I don't know. There you go. That's good.
And it's actually my parents. No, I'm kidding. So that's that.
I would love to make jokes about my parents hating each other, but
do they love each other?
My mom's dead, so. No.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Sorry about that.
They loved each other. Yeah, they did.
Ooh, brag about it. So you were a better... I was at an open mic the other night, and they were like, my parents are still together, so I'm a better son than you were. And I was like, God damn.
Damn.
But that's
So,
true.
I want to wrap this up.
Yeah, I'm
because-
trying so hard to find a wrap up.
We're gonna wrap it up. After we do this wrap up, I want to tell you a joke that I heard last night that I think is fucking hilarious. I don't know the guy's name, so I don't want to say it. I don't want to give his name away. I don't want to give anything away because I don't remember any of it except for the joke, which is good. But if this ever sees the light of day, don't fire Jeremy.
Please.
Wunderwaffen